So this week's combination is I've got the screenshot recording off of the big camera. I've got my chat using the laptop camera, and I've got multiple things going on in this room that's just crazy. All right, so welcome. Happy Monday. It is the day after Good Buddy Day. Yesterday was 10/4 Good Buddy Day. So yeah, a couple of things right off the jump here today. I want to talk a little bit about homework and some issues that are going on in the homework realm. Okay. First off, because we're submitting things electronically, please make sure that your pictures are clearer. Okay? So what you might have to actually do, and I'm totally fine with it, is if you have a sheet and you're holding it up to your camera, don't hold it way back here. Okay? Get it right up into the camera. Okay, and you can see where the sheet needs to be. And if you need to take a picture of the top half and then a picture of the bottom half, more pictures is better. Bigger pictures, closer pictures are clearer. Okay, lighting is also an issue with some people. Okay, if you have bright light, the picture is going to be clearer. If you're in a dark room, the picture is going to be grainier and it's going to be duller, and I'm not going to be able to read it. I did reject some people's homework this past week because I simply couldn't read it. Okay? So those people will need to go back in and they'll need to resubmit a nice, clearer picture. Okay? That's one. Second thing, okay? 16 of us in this particular class, 16 did not turn in last week's homework. Okay, I think last week's homework was a grand total of 15 problems, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, 15 problems. Spread out over the course of 5 school days means that you had 3 problems to do every day. If you spread it out over the grand total of the 7 total days that you had it, that means you had just a little bit more than 2 problems to do every day. I am not asking for a lot. What I am asking for is that you do the work, that you show your work, and you return it back to me in a timely fashion. Okay? That's all I'm asking. I'm not yelling. I'm not mad about it. I just wish that there wasn't 16 people that didn't turn in their homework. Third thing, I am noticing a lot of mirror images of the answer keys that I post on It's Learning. Meaning, I'm seeing a lot of people straight up copying my work. Okay? Which, fine. I put it out there. I'm totally fine with that. But it's not the best practice for you going forward, because this math is going to get more and more difficult. Okay? So you need to practice this math. Math is a participatory endeavor, I think is the best way of saying it, and you need to participate in it by doing your work. Again, not asking for a lot, asking for some. Okay? Third thing is there's a lot of people that have missing points out there because they haven't gone back to fix the things that need fixing. Okay? So if you did not get 100% on a homework, you should go back and you should fix it until you get 100% on that homework. Okay? Some wrong. What do I mean by some wrong? Oh, even if you got 100% on your homework, you still might have some questions wrong in there. And I will put in the comments on that particular homework which numbers on that particular one that you got incorrect. So even though you got a 2 out of 2 on your homework, go back and still check it to make sure that you truly did get 100% and you didn't just get like 1 or 2 problems wrong. Okay? Any questions on that? Okay. Seeing none, let's get going then. Oh, the other thing I was going to tell you is that it has been requested, and I did do this on the It's Learning page under resources, and I can add it to the plans too going forward. But under resources in chapter 2, or in unit 2, because we are in unit 2, I have now added this folder. And this folder is a blank note sheet folder. So the smart boards that I use are in here. So if you want to print them off for that day to make it easier to follow along, less writing, graph paper included, etc. If you have access to a printer, they're there for you now. Okay, so those are there, and I just got that request this morning, so I just put them on there 10 minutes ago, I think is when they got it uploaded today. So if you going forward though, I will hopefully remember to keep doing that every week. So if you want to print out notes before you watch a video, so like on Tuesdays and Wednesdays you would be watching a video, so if you wanted to print out the note sheet beforehand to ease up on your writing or get graph paper in there, okay, there's that there for you. Okay. All right. With that being said, let's get at her right now with a little graphs of absolute values today. Okay. So we're going to be graphing absolute value equations today. So let's go to the board. Here we go. Oh, I guess I can't put that up there because I've got stuff up in that corner. Looks like we're going to go back down to here then with it. Okay. So here is what the parent function, the mother function, if you will, of an absolute value graph looks like. Okay. Give you a couple of seconds to do a quick draw of it. Can anybody tell me a couple of characteristics about this one? If you could unmute and tell me what you think about this particular graph, this function graph. Okay? What do you notice about it? Caitlin, I certainly hope that you are not driving. I certainly hope that you are being a passenger. Anybody see anything that pops out in this about this particular graph? What was that? Okay, so it's not flat, right? It's kind of like a V, if you will, right? Okay. I don't want to necessarily use ascends because we could be a tipped over V too, so it could be descending at the same time. Okay, does that work? Okay, great clarification or great observation. It's a V shape. Something that also starts with V is called a vertex. It has a vertex, okay, right there. Technically, there's a big long name for that point. It's technically not called the vertex, but we in mathematics just flat out call it the vertex because it has the characteristics much like a parabola vertex. One other thing that I will tell you about, or one other observation that you might not necessarily know, but the slopes of the two sides are opposites. Not opposite reciprocals, just straight up opposites. Okay? So if the slope of the right side was positive 2, the slope of the left side then would be negative 2. Okay? Turn this a little bit so that it's pointing more towards where I stand. There, now you can kind of see me a little bit more. Okay? All right? So that is some observations. Now, let's talk about how we would go about graphing an absolute value. There are two methods to graphing an absolute value. One is very basic, okay, but it also creates potential issues. Okay? So that's the T-chart method. The T-chart method is very basic in how you go about finding the absolute value graph, but it creates some potential pitfalls for us. Okay? So the first thing is that you are going to pick 5 random x values in your out of your brain. Okay, so 5 random x values. You're going to plug those into your equation to find their corresponding y values. Okay? Here is where the pitfall happens, is in number 2. Then you need to plot those points, and after you get those points plotted, you need to inspect your graph. If you can see that vertex point, you're good to go, and you can go on to step number 3. If you can't see that vertex point, you've got to go back up and you've got to try some more points and see if you can find that V part. Okay? You've got to try and find that V for the T-chart to work. And then finally, you're going to connect 2 points with rays. Remember that the graph is a ray on each side. Let me put the arrowheads on there. Okay, it's not an X graph. It's a V graph. Okay, it's not an X. So we don't connect all the way across on both of those lines to make the X. We just connect it with a V. Okay? All right. So let's try this because Aaron's getting bored and he's already texting somebody on his phone. Oh yeah, I can see, remember. Okay? All right, so T-chart method. So I need 5 numbers. First, you can either put them in the chat or you can unmute yourself. Give me 5 numbers that I should try. Anyone, chat or unmute. 5 numbers. Any 5 would work. 1, I heard 1. Hit 4 more. 7, I see 7. 2. 2 more. -3, I heard. Give me one more. There we go. Natasha got it. 0. I saw it first. So -3 and 0. Okay? Love it. Okay? So we're going to try those points. We're going to plug them into our function. 1 minus 2. 1 minus 2 is -1. The absolute value of -1 is +1. +1 plus 3 is 4. Okay? So we go through the point 1, 4. We go through that particular point. 7 minus 2 is 5. Absolute value of 5 is 5. Plus 3 is 8. So I go through the point 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I go through that point right there. 2 minus 2 is 0. The absolute value of 0 is 0. Plus 3 is 3. 2 and 3. -3 minus 2 is -5. The absolute value of -5 is 5. Plus 3 is 8. 1, 2, 3, and up to 8. Oh, looks like I got to extend. 0. 0 minus 2 is -2. Absolute value of -2 is 2. Plus 3 is 5. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. Okay. Thumbs up, thumbs down, did we find the V? Thumbs up, we found it. Thumbs down, we did not find it. Okay? I see some thumbs up. Can anybody, so if we found the V, what color is the vertex? Which color, purple, orange, blue, red, or green, is the vertex? Red, William? I would agree that red is the vertex. Okay? So this one right here is my vertex. As you can see, the numbers are coming down, but then it looks like we have to go back up. And if I notice this, if I notice that, oh, my slope here is -1, so then I'd go here, 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 and there, because it'd have to be +1 on the other side. Shabam, there we go. Okay? Or in my brain, I could think of, okay, I need to, now I'm going to do it actually in realness. Okay? So if I took a line here, oops, and then one here, and I just kind of crisscrossed them over the top. Oops. Come on. And just kind of crisscross them. Yep, there's my V. Okay? All right. Now let me see if I can get rid of those quickly. There we go. Okay. So then we finish it off by drawing in our V. Oops, this is a segment. This isn't the line, but that's okay. I'll fill that part in. And there is our absolute value graph. Okay? Questions, comments, concerns, clarifications? Okay? But this one right here, gotcha. Question of the day is, okay, what is your preferred fast food restaurant? Brianna, just so you know how we do this, how I take attendance is I ask a question of the day, and then we put that into the chat, okay? And then I see what that your answer then is that you're here today, kind of a deal, okay? All right, so let's go on to method number 2. Now, method number 2 of graphing an absolute value is a little bit more involved, okay? But you will automatically find that V, that vertex point, and you will be able to graph it relatively quickly, okay? So here we go with method number 2. Our first, whoa, tap the brakes. Oh, yeah, okay, that's what this one was. Okay. So method number 2 has what's called the standard form. This is the standard form of an absolute value equation. Okay. Y equals A times the absolute value of the quantity x minus h, then plus k. Okay? So the standard form of an absolute value tells you many, many different things. So for instance, this A value does a lot of things. For instance, it makes the graph wide, okay, so that you get a wider V. Okay? It can also make the graph skinny, so you get a real skinny type V. It can make the graph open up or open down. So all of that is controlled by that coefficient on the absolute value term. Okay? H is going to shift the vertex. Oops, I'm sorry, I put that in the wrong spot. This one should be left or right. H is going to shift the vertex left or right. K is going to shift the vertex up or down. So in answer to the question, where is the vertex then? So if I take my V and I shift it left or right, up or down, so then my vertex is going to be at the point H, comma, K. That's where my vertex is going to end up. It's going to end up at the point H, comma, K. Okay? So I can just pick that right out of the equation. Okay? If we go back to the question of the day. So my H was 2 in this equation, and my K was 3, which put my vertex at the point 2, comma 3. Because H is inside of something in math, anytime that's inside of something, we have to think opposite. because H is inside of the absolute value. K is outside, so we just think about it normally. Okay? So the steps when you're graphing an absolute value equation using the H comma K method are relatively simple. First off, you find H and K, and you plot that point, and that gives you that vertex of your absolute value. Then you're going to plot some more points, or put a couple more dots in there because you're going to want to know where the slope is. So this A value right here, is going to be the slope of the right side of your absolute value. So if this were positive 1, you would go right 1 and up 1, put a dot. Right 1 and up 1, put another dot. Right 3 and up 3, put another dot. Okay. Okay. The slope of the left side is going to be the opposite of that. So if it was positive 1 on the right side, the slope on the left side is going to be negative 1. Okay. And then again, you connect things with 2 rays. Questions, comments, concerns about that? All right, let's try graphing 1 based off of the H comma K method. And we're going to actually do the exact same one that we just did. So it's the exact same one. So if you just want to follow along on that one, that would be okay. So first off, we need to identify H comma K. Well, H, let me move this down just a little bit. Okay. So H is here, and K is here. H looks like -2, but remember I have to think oppositely with it, so it's +2 and then 3. So I plot the point 2, 3. Step 2 says my right side slope is the coefficient on the absolute value term. Well, that's going to be +1. So I'm going to go right 1 and up 1 all the way through. My left slope then is going to be the opposite of that, which is going to be -1. So instead of going up 1 and right 1, I'm going to go up 1 and left 1, because they're only going to open up or down. We're not going to do any of those funky left and right ones. 1, because they're not functions, and 2, because the mathematique behind them gets a little tricky. And then step 3 says we draw in our V. Questions, comments, concerns, clarifications? together, let's graph this one using any method. Actually, Captain Breaks, let me see if this is the only one. You can't prove, oh, no, this is the one. I want you, sorry about that, you graph this one using any method. Okay? So you graph this one using any method. I'll give you a couple of minutes to do so. That gives me a chance to look and see what people are saying about their go-to fast food joint. Lots of Culver's. Support Wisconsin. Oh. Day, you got my second favorite one, Chick-fil-A. That's a Culver's. I like it. Plus, you can get ice cream. You can get a burger, a good burger, and you can get ice cream. Second Chick-fil-A. That's a Panda Express's too. Can't say that I've ever eaten at a Panda Express. Freaky Fast, Jimmy John's. Oh, nobody got it. Nobody got my favorite one. That's all right, because they're probably not from around. They're not around here. My favorite, my go-to one, Portillo's. Good Chicago-style dog from Portillo's. Okay. All right. So H comma K is going to be -6, 7, because we need to think oppositely on the H part. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Puts my vertex right there. My right side slope is going to be -1/4. That is going to be down 1 and right 4. Down 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. Love it. My left side slope then is going to be of the point +1/4. So I'm going to go down 1 and left 4. That gets me to positive because down is the negative direction, left is the negative direction. Negative divided by a negative is a positive. Finally, connecting said lines, or connecting the V here, there, and there. I just gotta, because my OCD is coming into play here. This just a little bit. You, of course, course, are using some kind of a ruler or some kind of a straight type device to make yours be nice and pretty. Okay? Questions, comments, concerns? Anything? Anyone? Anybody? Okay. That's all I got for you today. Tomorrow there will be a second video about this using some more complicated type absolute value ones. It'll be posted on the It's Learning page. And Wednesday then we'll talk about graphing absolute, or not, excuse me, not absolute values anymore. Wednesday is graphing inequalities, and then Thursday is graphing inequality lines or inequality absolute values. Okay? Make sure you answered the question of the day, and I don't think, let me take a peek. Hope, stick around because I need to see you or talk to you. And I don't think I got it. If anybody else has any questions, they can stick around too. But that's all I got for you. Have yourselves a great, grand, and wonderful day.